I have a hard time finding any place that is visually neutral, so I'm recording from my car. I have a couple of three updates to give. Two on the Charlie Kirk thing, and one I want to talk about Tim Kennedy and something I learned while watching the Valhalla channel. Because I didn't know who Tim Kennedy was before. So let's start with the Charlie Kirk. In fact, I was on the Valhalla channel, and it was released. This is the most strange form of release. We're gonna have an autopsy, and it's released, but where is the actual autopsy? But it was released that Charlie Kirk, that they found the bullet lodged in C2. Now I want to explain something to you. The back of your head, if you follow your finger down just below your skull, that's C1. Below that, C2. It is an assassination point, but the problem is it's up here, and the wound was down here. The wound was extremely low. Okay, now on the video it's going to look backwards, but this is the side that he was actually shot. So if he's shot down here at an angle of 9 degrees from 375 feet, even discounting the parabolic trajectory of the 30-06 and the fact that it's going to be spalling like this as it enters, it's going to be sinking. There was no breastplate, but the breastplate would have been down here. If it hit it, it would not have been capable of coming back up in that short a distance. It would have gone into this sort of carotid area, not near this jugular. But anyway, so it hit here. What's the one thing we know 100%? I've already explained that the audio could not arrive at the same time as him snapping back. That's not possible. And if you watch an original MP4 like the one that I downloaded from X, that's what you're seeing. Almost exactly at the moment that he snaps back is when the sound arrives. It's not possible. He would be hit by the bullet, and about a third of a second to a quarter of a second later, the rapport would hit. So it'd be snap, like that. All right, now that is bad enough. But now, if the FBI is admitting that he was hit in C2, then they're saying by proxy, and any defense attorney could prove this with an expert of any kind, a math teacher in high school, a ballistics expert, a doctor, that he could not be hit in C2, okay, from 9 degrees that way when C2 is above this wound. C2 is up here. You're talking 3 inches, maybe more, depending on how tall Charlie Kirk was. So right away, you know someone's lying, or the report's wrong, or quite possibly he could have been shot from a palm pistol over here. I don't think he could have been shot from down below here because the door was actually to the side, but theoretically someone in front, theoretically, it's not what happened, but it could hit here and hit C2, or as Zeb Boykin and Range J Bro and others have pointed out, there could have been that van that was open and now the door is closed on the back of the minivan, could have fired the shot from here. There was also a high-speed drone. That was probably an observational drone because a better quality video revealed that the drone sped into the area and then away towards that unoccupied house, but it had come from another roof. It didn't come from back here. It came and it swooped this way and then went back out. But it was caught on camera. So I don't think the drone shot from the behind is as viable as from the minivan that the door closed. And I do want to point out that another channel reviewed the footage. The guy who took the cameras from behind, he did something very strange. When Charlie was shot, he ran out front and then got up on like an air conditioning unit or some other unit in sort of a corner and used a camera phone and then recorded them carrying Charlie Kirk to the van and then ran back and got the camera footage. Now, I don't know what any of that means, but I can tell you what it definitely means is that he wasn't shot by a 30-06, which is why his neck didn't explode, of any kind of caliber. I've heard people trying to, well, it expanded quickly. It doesn't matter. It would have kept going anyhow. The whole point of it expanding quickly is to make a bigger exit wound, not to stop inside the body. That's not how it works. It never has worked. It never will work. It's not a matter of religion. It's not a matter of you believe in miracles. I don't give a shit. If you believe in miracles in that way, you're a retard. So I'm just letting you know. Unsubscribe, go away, and if you're particularly vehement about it, go fuck yourself, because the only things that work is Charlie shot from behind, shot from a palm gun, or he's alive. In which case, Candace Owens is doing him no favors continuing to harp on this, because if it was an arranged to look like an assassination, there's some major problems. And I'll tell you, not the least of which is whether the patsy is guilty or innocent, or just not guilty because he didn't fire the shot. That's the one thing that's for fucking sure. And we saw the edited video with no shadow. Then she's not doing him any favors either. Either they're not doing the prosecution favors or the defense favors, because you make it look like everybody's confabulated. And I'm going to tell you right now, no one, even my friend Zeb, my friend I just basically have met via this Charlie Kirk stuff and message on X, no one's talking about the rapport and when it's hitting. Even a guy who did a video where the 30-06 and he put a target 142 meters, you can see, boom, ding, boom, ding, right? You can see the delay. Even he's not talking about that, and no one's talking about the fact that you're shooting downhill. Now, 30-06 rounds do this kind of thing. They don't go straight, guys. And so if it's coming down at an angle, it's going to be coming faster and faster. It's going to be sinking like a submarine. It had blown out the back of him, not even out the neck. It had blown out the back of him. It's not even clear that the neck could have been hit without touching the jaw from the angle of which they're claiming, because of course they don't want people up on that roof, and they're not going to allow a person to set up and role play the whole scenario. I did appreciate one guy who he set it up in a bowl. Unfortunately, he shot from 100 meters, which is too short, and he didn't shoot from a high angle. But he did a pretty good job overall. Now, the other thing was this Tim Kennedy. Because I was on Valhalla SFT's channel, I learned about Tim Kennedy, and I learned this astonishing thing that happened 10 months ago. Apparently, his book, Scars and Stripes, had come out. Now, no one, and I mean no one, comes out of the woodwork, like come back from Vietnam. We committed massive war crimes and, burned a village down. So this guy was not only stealing valor, Purple Heart, Bronze Star stuff, claiming he had defended himself against 400 Iranian freedom fighters, carrying bags of grenades, shooting from towers like he's Jackson from Saving Private Ryan. But he's admitting to crimes more than one time. That never happened. His captain has already come out and said it didn't happen. Now, 6 months later, he issued an apology for the stolen valor. Well, the thing that occurred to me instantly is this guy is an MMA fighter. He probably has damage to the frontal cortex, in which he's having what's called spontaneous confabulation. And he actually was mixing himself up with movies that he had seen, like real event. And his publishers, maybe he was self-published, I don't know. But the publishers of the book, no one fact-checked ahead of time. They trusted totally in his character, which he is a legit Green Beret. He's a legit badass. This guy was 15 years in MMA. This is not Mandela effect stuff. I'm disappointed in the lack of rational thinking in our culture. It's one thing when I meet a flat earther or I meet a person, it's okay to question if we went to the moon, but I'll explain to you how I know we went to the moon. It's another thing. It's another thing entirely that half of my feed is special operators talking about demons and angels. Tucker Carlson constantly talking about demons and angels. Candace Owens, wild speculation. And then, you have Alex Jones just pointing out there's a lot of evidence that Charlie Kirk could be alive. But Mark Dice is so obsessed with hating the left and hating At this point, I'm concerned he just hates maybe people of color, or maybe just blacks, or whatever. That all rationality and the ability to be skeptical and to do critical thinking has gone out the door all around. And you have people who seem like they're allies, but they're not allies. And you have people who I would be allies, but because of Israel, they now hate each other somehow. And the whole right is just melting. It's kind of pathetic, actually, because they're going to end up as bad off as the left. The left walked off the cliff years ago, years and years ago. And it just makes me think, about why I'm an independent, why I'm a classical libertarian with a little bit of leaning towards paleo-conservative. I don't understand why, just because you study the Bible, I study the Bible too, just because you study it doesn't mean that there's not a rational explanation to the things that are happening. When Jesus cured the guy of blindness, if you go look it up, saliva has antimicrobial qualities. There's ways to explain things that happen. We have an explanation for the parting of the Red Sea and the collapse of the water back down upon the Egyptian army and Israel. We have an explanation for the deluge. We have rational reasons for things that have happened. But when you see something that is actually impossible, mathematically, scientifically, and medically, or if you see that something doesn't make sense, think a little bit. Tim Kennedy did MMA for 15 years. No one in their right mind, no matter what, if he has spontaneous confabulation or not, no one in their right mind, narcissists calculate how their reputation is going to look. There's no way that this man literally thought that he would look cool admitting to war crimes. Something else is happening. If you see something that doesn't make sense, stop and think. Just stop and think. That's all I ask. Stop and really think about it. There's no blood splatter behind Charlie. Ergo, there's no exit wound. It took everybody 2 weeks to figure out that there was no exit wound. It's just nonsense. As soon as I looked at the video again, looking for I saw it wasn't there, and I knew it wasn't shot from the front because a 30-06 is going to go right through him. I knew it right then. But there's these other things that you can use to look at. And you hear people going, well, it sounds like a supersonic rifle. You know how many calibers are supersonic? Almost all of them. So use your brain. Don't just believe it because some media or some alternative media or some channel you really like. I like Mark Dice overall. But the way he talks down about people who question things, I'm sitting there going, there are snipers like Zeb Boykin who are way smarter than you on this kind of issue, pal. And you're a well-known researcher into the space of secret societies, and you don't understand the value to those secret societies of killing a man like Charlie Kirk. And then, of course, all the texts are coming out. It's obvious to me that it has to be CIA, but, let's say it was Mossad. At least be capable of asking the questions. At least be capable. To Candace Owens, you can't believe everything that comes into your mind. You got to step through and be rational about it. You just have to do a better job. You're leading people into hysteria. And if you are right, you're not doing Tyler or Charlie any favors by approaching it the way you're approaching it. It's too intense. You've got to take time and think about things and sift through, then come back to the table with something useful. Be well. God bless. Have a great one.